I am super excited for this episode because this is my unconventional year in review for 2024. I'm going to talk about business, growth and development, and some other personal things. And it's going to be personal, raw, vulnerable. I ask my guests to do this all of the time, so now it is my turn. And the thing that I really want you to walk away with this episode is that success is what you make of it. It's not always what it looks like on Instagram. It's not always financial. There are so many different factors that go into this term success. So we'll expand more on that, but let's dive in. So in 2023, this was my year of burnout. And my 2024 then became my year of transition. So was 2024 my highest revenue year? No. It was not at all because it was a year of transition. But let me share why it might have been my most successful year yet. So, as some of you know, if you know me, I am a certified online business manager. I am more so a business coach for online service providers, my virtual assistants, my OBMs. And my overall goal for 2024 was to move away from my OBM retainer work and really lean more into coaching. So, how did that go? Did I succeed? Am I a coach 100% of the time? Kind of. So, let's talk about transitions for a minute. When did I transition? In 2020, I became a certified online business manager. And it took me about 1 year to fully transition from virtual assistant to OBM, only working with my OBM clients. So it is unrealistic to expect that, okay, I want to do this transition. It's going to happen in a month. It's going to happen in 2 months. It's going to take some time. I've done this before. I knew that it would take some time. So currently, I still have one or two OBM clients, and coaching is much more of a focus. So I am more and more leaning into that. And in addition to that, not only am I doing it more, but I'm really, really proud of the progress that I have made in my coaching this year. It has been a journey for me from really figuring out my niche, what I want to do, and to lean into marketing. How do I want to market? Really learning about marketing and coaching because it is so different from marketing when you're a service provider. So this year, I narrowed my niche. I am so obsessed with what I do. I help capped service providers get uncapped and grow spaciously and peacefully and transition away from that chaos into this peace. I love it. I am obsessed with it. Obviously, I have a personal connection to it due to the burnout that I mentioned earlier. I also invested in coaching for myself for marketing because this was an area that I knew I had to crack. I knew I had to improve on that. And my investment was so worth it. It was so great. In the last quarter of this year, I revamped my entire offer suite. I am hyper focused on what I'm doing. I have systems for marketing, and everything is so valuable, and I really, really love what's happening. So I'm really looking forward to my coaching in 2025. So that's why I consider this a success. The On the OBM side, I have a consistent OBM client I've worked with for a couple of years who I love. And earlier at the beginning of this year, I gained a new one. And on the call, were there red flags? Yes, there were red flags. Did I take on this client? I did. Now, I ignored my gut. I took on this client because at that time I said, I could use the revenue. I need the money. Let me just say yes. What's the worst that could happen? Let's just say that this was a test from the universe that I failed tremendously. This was one of the most tumultuous clients that I have had. It was quite the lesson, and I'm sharing this to tell you that I know better. I 100% know better than to do this. I let the money lead me, and I want this to be a lesson for you and a reminder that even seasoned service providers make mistakes. Even seasoned service providers take on unaligned clients, and it is what it is. The universe tested me. I said, no, I want to allow to do this. And it did not work out, but don't worry, it didn't last for that long. and we have grown. So overall, business is transitioning, it is growing. We are moving more and more into the direction that we want to go. I feel very clear and I'm very excited for 2025. So now let's move on to growth and investment. So as I mentioned, I invested in marketing coach and it was the best thing that I could have done. I will say that if you really find somebody who you're aligned with and you're listening to this, perhaps that person is speaking to you right now. It is it is an investment that will pay off tenfold and for so long. I took this coach has uh I really really aligned with her style, with her what she teaches, and it has been really incredibly valuable. I also made a couple of other personal investments, both a combination of business and personal. So one is actually a former guest on this podcast, Sheridan Ruth. And in the episode that she is on, we were talking about being at your edge and the fear of success and holding yourself back. And I said, "Ooh, I really, really relate to this. That I really felt it when she was talking. I was like, I am holding myself back." So I worked with her in this really deep session and it was amazing. And the other thing I did was work with Zani Eve, who is also a guest on this podcast too, as my friend. And I worked with her to deepen my intuition and get more in touch with my intuition. And those things have helped me immensely in my business and in my personal life. So I have grown from this even more confident. I have grown in my trust for myself. I have tools that I didn't have before necessarily, or I developed them more. And these investments have already been paying off both monetarily and non monetarily, and amazing. All right. So then the third category is personal life. So my whole thing is that I really want everybody in my world to be living an aligned business and an aligned lifestyle. And part of that for me, so if you don't know, I am an American who lives in Spain. I moved here in 2022. I moved to Malaga, Spain, which was in the south of the country, lived there for 2 years. It wasn't quite the right fit. It didn't have things that I need, that I feel like, okay, this is for me. This is, like this is my place. Um, Interestingly enough, one of them is salsa dancing. So I'm a big salsa dancer, have been for since I don't know, 2005, I think. And kind of non-existent in Malaga, wasn't really the vibe. So it was really interesting. The first place I've ever lived that didn't have a community for salsa dancing. And it really, really affected me. So, and then another thing was that I really missed my yoga. So the type of yoga that I do, it's called Jiva Mukti. And this is like this certified yoga teacher in a lineage similar to that. And that also did not exist in Malaga. Many other things. It was a little bit too small for me. And so I had visited previously, but then, more recently in last year, I had visited Barcelona. And when I came here, I was like, oh, I feel at home here. This is my home. So we moved. And let me tell you that this was not a simple feat. So you think, okay, you're moving, it's fine. Like you do that at home, like not a big deal. I could do a whole series of podcast episodes on how difficult it is to do something as seemingly simple as finding a place to live in Barcelona. So here, it has been honestly the best thing that I have done personally. If the city feels really aligned, I'm building community here. I have so many more friends than I did before. I have my dancing, I have my yoga, I have people. So it was the best thing personally and just energetically as well. So I really felt kind of stagnant in Malaga. Malaga is a great place. Now, people love it. I'm not dissing on that city. Like, it's lovely. Um, there after I, figured out how to live in another country, just being there really felt stagnant. And so here, when I moved, the energy shifted. And that also really had an effect on my business. So I'll give you an example of a challenge that I faced. In order to find an apartment in Barcelona, it is incredibly competitive. There is a particular website, and as soon as something pops up, you have to call. You have to call. They don't answer emails. They don't have to, whatever. You have to call in Spanish. I am not fluent in Spanish. So I was dreading making these calls because I sounded like an idiot. I didn't know half the words they were telling me. But I had to because I wanted to move. I needed to make this happen. And the only way to do that was to get over this fear. So I did it. And then I did it again and again and again. And then eventually I wasn't afraid anymore. I overcame my fear of talking on the phone in Spanish to people about topics that I didn't have the best vocabulary over, which I learned. But at the beginning, I did not know these words. So, this, of course, is parallel to business, right? Everything you do in your business that's new, it's going to be scary. Your nervous system is going to tell you not to do it. And you are going to then not let it stop you because we know better. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it scary. And then it's going to become normal and less scary. So, adaptability, persistence, trusting your intuition that this is the right move, these are all things to learn from my story of moving to Barcelona. So, overall, what lessons can we learn from this? And then I will tell you what I'm looking forward to in 2025. Transitions take time. Give yourself space, have a plan, and just know that transitions take time. Again, both of my big transitions in my business, VA to OBM, OBM to coach, takes time. Success is not linear. It's going to go up and down as long as you are consistent, as long as you don't give up, as long as you continue to be creative and innovative, then you are successful. Sometimes that year that looks smallest, quote unquote, on paper is really setting you up for your biggest leaps. This is what I feel. Like I said, this has not been my biggest financially successful year, but I have done so much personally, the inner work, setting up my business, huge things are on the horizon. And alongside that, investing in yourself, especially when you're in transition, you cannot go wrong. This is so important to have that support. So if I'm looking forward to 2025, I am really excited. So overall, this year has been a huge success if I consider every factor. I know that I have the foundations in place. I know that what I'm building is setting me up for an amazing 2025. My confidence has grown, my self-trust has grown. My business, I love where I am bringing it, where I've brought it so far. I love the marketing that's happening. I love all these things that I wasn't aligned with before, and I love where it's going. So I would really love to encourage you to do this exercise for yourself. Reflect back on your year and not just both financially and in all these other categories. Really look back. Where were you at the start of this year? Where are you now? What growth have you seen? Where would you like to go in 2025? So really reflect on your own journey and define success in your own terms. And I really encourage you to just keep this up, keep going, and have an amazing end of the year, 2025. And yeah, so I guess I will see you guys next year. And that is all. So see you guys later.